A gangster brutally kills a police officer right in front of his wife. Moments later, he shoots her too and throws both bodies into a pit. Everything seems over, but they made one deadly mistake. The woman is still breathing, and she's not just anyone, she's an elite soldier named Brenner. Her husband, Dylan, is a police officer. But what they don't realize is that they didn't bury a victim, they awakened a survivor. And now she's not running for her life, she's coming back for revenge. At the beginning of the story, the couple is on a road trip. During the drive, a man in a truck suddenly speeds past them. He makes crude and inappropriate remarks about Brenner before aggressively overtaking their car. After some time, they stop at a roadside restaurant to freshen up. While Dylan goes to the bathroom, Brenner sits alone at a table outside. At that moment, the same truck driver shows up again and starts harassing her. This time, he invades her personal space and gets uncomfortably close. The man is called Butch, and his behavior clearly shows he's a bully, speaking in a foul and disrespectful manner. Dylan returns from the bathroom and immediately confronts him. They exchange tense words.
Got a problem?
Better watch yourself.
Before the situation escalates further, an elderly woman from the restaurant steps in between them. She separates the two men and calms things down. Then she explains that the locals are not used to seeing a lovely couple like them and apologizes on Butch's behalf. Dylan thanks her for her kindness. However, she warmly insists that he call her mom, just like everyone else who eats there. Soon after, the couple continues their journey. They eventually find a peaceful spot in the woods and decide to camp there for the night. As they begin setting up, a female police officer arrives and starts talking to Brenner. She warns them that the locals are strange and not very welcoming to outsiders. She advises them to be extremely careful if they plan to stay in the area. After thanking her for the warning, the couple decides to go hiking once she leaves. While walking, Dylan asks Brenner whether they should take the left or right path. Brenner confidently tells him to go left, so they choose the left path.
Left it is.
As they move forward, rain suddenly begins to fall. Out of nowhere, they come across a cabin and decide to go inside to wait for the rain to stop. They even comment on how romantic the weather feels. Inside the cabin, the couple shares a romantic moment together. Afterward, Brenner starts exploring the place. When she enters another room, she notices a hidden compartment. Curious, she opens it and is shocked to find a large stash of ammunition inside. Fear instantly takes over her. She quickly calls Dylan and asks him to check outside. Dylan also becomes alarmed, and they both agree that they need to leave immediately. Just as they are about to escape, Butch suddenly attacks from behind. He strikes both of them with the butt of his gun. They lose consciousness instantly. The next scene shows them tied up inside a room. Butch is now brutally torturing Dylan. While Dylan suffers, they force Brenner to watch everything, mentally tormenting her as well. Later, one of Butch's men approaches him and reveals that the man he is torturing is actually a police officer. For a brief moment, Butch panics before entering the room. He tells Dylan that he didn't know he was a cop and claims he is sorry for everything.
I need to apologize to you guys.
Right after saying that, he pulls out his gun and shoots both of them.
Sorry I was so mean, you know? I really am sorry.
He then orders his men to get rid of the bodies. They dig a deep hole and throw the bodies inside it. After this, the story cuts to a flashback. It shows Brenner going through intense police training. This reveals that she is far from an ordinary woman. She is extremely powerful. Afterward, we cut back to the present where Brenner wakes up after everyone has already left. It turns out the bullets didn't actually kill her. They only grazed her, leaving a deep scratch and causing her to bleed. As she regains consciousness, she immediately checks on her husband. Seeing that he is dead, she quietly covers his body with small branches. She then returns to their campsite, mourning the loss of her husband. She blames herself for his death, remembering that it was her idea to take the left path, a decision that led to this tragedy. As her true identity comes back to her, she makes a cold decision to kill them all in revenge for her husband's death. She instantly grabs an axe and begins walking forward. Meanwhile, Butch is seen returning to Mom's house where they are bullying a woman. Butch keeps grabbing her from behind and kisses her against her will. The locals are clearly terrified of Butch and his people. It is revealed that they have been kidnapping these women and doing whatever they want with them. At that moment, Mom steps in and tells Butch to eat quickly because she has a job for him. Meanwhile, Brenner crafts a sharp wooden weapon and quickly kills one of Butch's men. However, it is obvious she is not satisfied with having to do all of this. After killing the man and disposing of the body, she disappears back into the woods. Sometime later, she manages to take down another man, even chops off another man's foot. However, she does not kill him, instead watching as he drags himself away and survives on his own. Brenner then sets a fire, burning down Butch's important cabin and triggering a massive explosion. We are then introduced to a character known as Sheriff Hobbs. He holds his gun while hearing the explosion, trying to figure out what just happened. On the other side, Mom and Butch also hear the loud blast. Butch sees smoke rising from the direction of his cabin and becomes slightly frightened. Mom immediately orders Butch to go and check it out. As Butch moves into the forest, he comes across a wounded man who has already been attacked by Brenner. He quickly puts him in his truck and drives away. We then see Brenner lying in the back of Butch's truck.
Hey!
When Butch returns to Mom, he tells her the bad news that some of their men have been killed. Mom becomes furious with Butch. She lashes out at him and even slaps him for bringing them into the situation. She then orders him to go and find the outsiders. It is revealed that Mom has a complete network and a full setup behind everything. She goes to one of her tech guys and tells him to check the woman's profile. The man looks her up, and Mom soon discovers that Brenner is not just an ordinary woman, but has served in the military, leaving her shocked. Meanwhile, Sheriff Hobbs walks deeper into the forest, finds the body of one of Butch's men, and immediately contacts the command center. He reports the bodies found outside. On the other hand, Brenner begins preparing herself in the forest. She continues setting deadly traps for anyone who might be lurking in the area. Sheriff Hobbs's men arrive at the exact spot where he discovered the body, and one of them confirms to the sheriff that it belonged to one of Mom's people. He then reveals a shocking truth that the entire forest is under Mom's control.
They all call her Mama. She owns all this land.
And everything happening here is happening on her orders. The sheriff immediately says he wants to meet this Mom without delay. On the other hand, a girl working inside the command center informs Mom that Sheriff Hobbs is on his way to meet her. It turns out this woman is also working under Mom's payroll. Soon after, the sheriff and some of his men arrive to meet Mom and inform her about the bodies they found in the forest. But Mom does not mention any trouble involving her people in the forest. She does not even act like a victim of any attack on her men. Instead, she boldly claims that the man they found simply committed suicide and took his own life.
He took his own life.
The sheriff clearly understands she is lying, but he says nothing further and leaves with his men. That night, Mom and her people mourn their lost friend. They drink heavily and eventually fall asleep there. Butch wakes up later, but he is still badly hungover. He walks in, and Brenner is already there waiting for him. Without hesitation, she immediately slashes his throat, finally avenging her husband. She watches as he struggles to breathe and slowly dies in front of her. The next morning, Brenner is still hiding there when one of Mom's men drags a girl into a room and locks her inside. Brenner realizes she is not the only one there, as many other girls are also being held captive. Feeling deep sympathy for these helpless girls, Brenner decides to help them escape. She sneaks into the room and frees all the girls. However, they are too scared to run, and one of them suddenly screams, alerting an armed man who opens fire on them. One of the girls is shot and killed, but Brenner, showing her unmatched skills, kills the attacker in a brutal and unique way. Brenner then escapes into the forest with a girl named Emily. Meanwhile, Mom learns that Butch is dead and all the girls have escaped. Devastated by the death of her son, Mom completely loses control. She orders her men to find that woman and bring her back alive. She commands them to gather all the men and dogs and begin searching the entire forest for her. One of Mom's men discovers Brenner's hiding spot but is killed instantly by a trap. Another man shows up and Brenner quickly shoots him dead as well. Later that night, Brenner and Emily sit together, talking and trying to find a moment of peace. Emily tells her that she is pregnant, but admits she is terrified of dying. She fears that if Mom catches her, no one knows what she will do.
I'm gonna get you out of here and you'll get your life back, okay?
Brenner reassures her that she will protect her at all costs. Meanwhile, Mom's special man, Hunk, enters the forest with his dogs to track down Brenner. The next morning, they manage to capture Emily, but Brenner arrives just in time and takes them down. Meanwhile, Sheriff Hobbs also arrives on the scene. One of Hunk's men shoots Hobbs in the leg, but Brenner quickly spots him and shoots him dead on the spot. Brenner and Emily then rush to help Hobbs and move him to a safer location. Brenner tells the sheriff that they need to create a distraction, otherwise the enemies will keep returning to this place, making the situation even harder to control. After this, they decide it's time to leave the hideout. Now, Brenner and Emily move along the stream and eventually come across the same female police officer who had previously warned Brenner and her husband about this area. They decide to ask her for help, and she tells them to get into her car.
Emily, in the car. Back in the car!
Completely exhausted, all of them fall asleep almost immediately. However, when they wake up, they realize they are completely surrounded by Mom and her men. It is then revealed that the female police officer was working for Mom all along and was on her payroll. They are immediately captured and begin to be tortured. During this, Emily tells Mom that she is pregnant with Butch's child. Hearing this, Mom orders her men to take Emily into another room. Meanwhile, Brenner is tied up in a separate room, prepared for torture. But Emily manages to bring food and uses the moment to take down the guard watching Brenner. She quickly unties her. Brenner then storms into the room where all of Mom's men are gathered. A brutal fight breaks out, and Brenner starts eliminating them one by one. Meanwhile, Mom holds a knife to Emily's throat and demands that Brenner drop her weapon. In the middle of the standoff, a man suddenly attacks Brenner from behind. Taking advantage of the moment, Mom slits Emily's throat and escapes. Brenner kills the attacker, but when she reaches Emily, the poor girl is already dead. The scene then shifts 3 months later. Mom is sitting peacefully in a garden when she receives a message reading Judgment Day. Just then, Mom is shot in the head, and we see Brenner camouflaged inside the forest. After finally avenging her husband, Brenner walks away, and the movie comes to an end. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.